I hate to say it, but the Democrats may be geniuses for picking Joe Biden as their presidential nominee. Hear me out. Democrats may be geniuses for picking Biden instead of Bernie Sanders or instead of Elizabeth Warren because Biden gives voters a false sense of security. Because as we've been told a million times by the mainstream media, Joe Biden is a moderate. But why do you think radical leftists like AOC, for example, support Biden, even though Biden is supposedly a moderate and AOC is a socialist? This is the genius of the Democrats' plan. Because Joe Biden is just a stooge for the radical left, pretending to be moderate, when in reality, Biden would build an apparatus of radical leftists around him who will usher in the radical leftist policies the far left wanted to begin with. And the patsy in this whole scheme, unfortunately, is you, the voter. It's a trick, really. Instead of Bernie Sanders, you got Joe Biden, but Joe Biden will still bring you Bernie Sanders himself. Biden actually said he needs Bernie's help governing. Take a look at this.
We also want you to know I'm excited to do the work with you in the months and years ahead. You know, as you say, not me, us. Not me, us. That's your phrase, pal. And your supporters and I are going to make the same commitment. I see you. Your supporters, I see you. I hear you. I understand the urgency of what it is that we have to get done in this country. And I hope you'll join us. The more, the merrier. We need to come together. We need to defeat Donald Trump.
Remember, Bernie Sanders wants to abolish billionaires. He wants to implement a wealth tax and the Green New Deal. He wants to impose Medicare for all, abolish private health insurance. Bernie Sanders has praised socialist and communist dictators like Fidel Castro. He's praised the Soviet Union's social engineering programs. Instead of AOC, you got Joe Biden, but Biden will still bring you AOC's Green New Deal. He said so himself on his website. In fact, Biden even admits that he's okay with people in the coal industry losing their jobs. Watch.
Vice President Biden, I'd like to ask you, 3 consecutive American presidents have enjoyed stints of explosive economic growth due to a boom in oil and natural gas production. As president, would you be willing to sacrifice some of that growth, even knowing potentially that it could displace thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands of blue-collar workers in the interest of transitioning to that greener economy?
The answer is yes. The answer is yes.
Instead of Elizabeth Warren, you got Joe Biden, but Biden will still bring you Elizabeth Warren's outrageously high taxes. In fact, Biden promised to raise your taxes on day 1 of his presidency. Instead of Pete Buttigieg, you got Joe Biden, but Biden will still bring you Pete Buttigieg's animus against religious people who oppose gay marriage. In fact, Biden will bring you Buttigieg himself. Biden put Mayor Pete on his hypothetical transition team. Instead of Kamala Harris, you got Joe Biden, but then Biden chose Kamala Harris as his running mate, the most liberal senator in the entire United States Senate, according to GovTrack, who laughed like a maniac when she was asked about being so liberal and didn't actually answer the question. Instead of Andrew Cuomo, you got Joe Biden, but Biden says he might choose Andrew Cuomo as Attorney General even after Cuomo targeted Orthodox Jews. Even after Andrew Cuomo forced nursing homes in the state of New York to take COVID-positive patients, which led to the death of thousands of grandmas and grandpas in the state. I could go on and on. That's only a handful of the radical leftists that Biden is openly embracing, all the while pretending to be a moderate. This is the genius of the Democrats' plan. Pretend Biden is a moderate to make voters feel safe, but then use Biden to impose socialist policies. But the Democrats are only geniuses for picking Joe Biden and pretending he's a moderate to use him to usher in their radical leftist policies if the voters are gullible enough to fall for it. Don't fall for it.